I'm really proud of you this episode. You showed restraint. The eggs, they still looked tasty, but Baby Yoda, he's learned as a Yoda. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Chapter 11 of The Mandalorian is here. Today we're going to talk about it in full spoiler fashion, so if you haven't watched the episode, you may want to come back to this video. And if you like this reoccurring series of reviews, be sure to let me know. Let's get into it. So in this episode, The Mandalorian braves high seas and meets unexpected allies. So first off, let's talk about the fact that Bo-Katan is in this episode, played by Katie Sackhoff, who did the voice way back when, and I love that. I think that's fantastic. From the moment I saw the armor, I said, wait a second, could that be? And then you see the detail and the fact that they pretty much nailed the look. And Katie Sackhoff's so familiar with this character. It was great, whether it's that conversation about the Darksaber, of course, infiltrating the ship, the jokes about the stormtroopers. I loved everything about her character and her two assistants. So I thought that was really cool, and the interactions between her and the Mandalorian were fantastic. Now, we also saw Sasha Banks in this episode, and way back when I did my trailer reaction, I didn't really know who she was going to be, and everyone said Sabine, but according to some tweets, now I didn't have the subtitles on, so I didn't see, but the subtitles said her name was Casca Reeves. So apparently Sasha Banks is not playing Sabine, but we still don't necessarily know who her character is. She just kind of popped up and then went away, so we'll have to see what that's all about. And then by the end of the episode, not to skip all the way into the end, but we have to talk about this as well, Ahsoka Tano got a mention. Now, we know she is going to appear at some point this season. It looks like that's going to be the next episode because that's where The Mandalorian is headed. We also got some really interesting aspects to the Mandalorian lore when Bo-Katan was kind of describing the fact that he's part of this cultish aspect of the Mandalorians. When she said this is the way to his face, I'm like, oh, she really is the same character that we knew from the Clone Wars. So I really did love everything that we got from her inclusion, and we know she's coming back. Katie Sackhoff, you have to utilize the fact that she's doing this one more time. You have to utilize that. But we see at the beginning of the episode when Mando drops off Baby Yoda, after we got that scare when Baby Yoda kind of gets knocked into the mouth of that creature, and they're obviously trying to take Mando's armor. So, I mean, we know nothing like that, hopefully, is going to happen to Baby Yoda off the bat, but my heart sank a little bit. But obviously that's when they come in to save the day. And then we get that really epic battle with the stormtroopers at the end, infiltrating the ship and trying to take it, of course. Of course, we see Moff Gideon there as well. A bit of a tease as to his inclusion later on in this season. Man, I can't wait to get back to him. I love Giancarlo Esposito. I like the fact that we're getting back on track in this episode as well. Again, I liked the last episode. I liked elements, right? But it did feel like more of a filler episode. This, you're bringing in elements that we know from Star Wars. You're bringing in a lot of lore. Another thing that I noticed in this episode that I thoroughly enjoyed, and we get this pretty consistently with The Mandalorian, is the inclusion of very familiar sound effects. But I noticed so many from the prequels in this episode, whether it's the ship's landing or some of the moments within the battle. And then we get mentions of various things from Clone Wars, from the Disney animated shows that not everyone has watched. So if you're not familiar with something like a Clone Wars, first of all, you don't care who Bo-Katan is. You're being introduced to her for the first time, and various aspects are just unfamiliar, but that's okay. Even if you're kind of new to the world of The Mandalorian, to this aspect of Star Wars, the TV show aspect, I still think you're going to get a lot from this episode. Some entertaining battle scenes, like I said, the introduction to characters, and of course, that Ahsoka drop at the end. Now, what do we get with her? I mean, how is that going to play into what we know from The Mandalorian? Regardless, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Just kind of wrapping up my thoughts on this episode of The Mandalorian. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did it. It's in competition with my favorite episode of the season thus far, episode 1, and then this one. And I really do think this show is going to get good really good in the last few episodes. We still haven't seen some of the characters from last season that we've seen in the trailer. We haven't seen Giancarlo Esposito's character in person yet, so a lot of different elements still to come in, and what is going to happen with Baby Yoda. Does Baby Yoda get returned safely? And are we going to continue that storyline through the next season? We will just have to see. Appreciate it big time, guys. I'm thinking about going live and talking The Mandalorian next Friday instead of doing this type of video. So let me know what you think. Let me know what time would be good for you. Give you guys time to see the episode. Regardless, I appreciate it big time, and I'll see you soon.